Okay, what we have done some queen sacrifice or something. Ooh, okay. You have an obvious situation. This knight is pinned to the king by the bishop and to the queen by the rook. Man, what a freak. Now, what's he trying to do to me? He's really trying to do this. But the problem is we're going to make a threat. We're going to counter his threat. He's got 3 minors. We have 4. No, we have 3. We are down a whole queen. No, sorry. We have a rook for a queen. But we're going to win this. Now, the thing is, his threat, pawn takes b2, threatening our bishop. Not that big of a deal. We'll just go bishop to here. But he's going to queen. So you got to worry about this. Now, the obvious thing is we're going to take this knight. This is obvious. The question becomes, what's the smartest way to take it? Bishop takes knight check. Or you could say it like my father. Bishop takes free knight check. Is that the best move? I don't think it is. I think it's a good move. And my dad has a rule for that. That's play the win you see. I don't see this as winning. But in the case of, in the absence of winning, it's pretty good. Okay. It does take it with check, and we can answer this problem with this pawn. And you'd have rook and knight for queen. You're not completely reamed, but you're losing. So I don't think bishop takes knight check is the right move. I think rook takes knight is the right move, and this is why. The reason I think this is the right move is because now you're taking this knight not with a check, but with a threat on the queen that's also a check. This is the key. This is the key. You have 2 threats here that he has to deal with. And that is you have rook takes queen, and then you have rook goes to whatever square with a discovered check and possibly even a double check. So I think the answer is rook takes knight. And what makes this such a problem to handle is that now he's on the defensive. He's got his queen, but he's on the defensive because you're threatening to lay down the lumber. And it's like rook takes knight. He moves his queen. Say he moves his queen. Say queen to e7 gets out of your check threat, right? That's actually not a good move, but let's go to a slightly better move. Queen to g5. Well, I don't know. We'll just go queen e7. It doesn't work, but because we're going to take this queen to e7, and then we're going to check him. Rook takes free bishop check comes to mind. You're winning a second piece. That's why bishop takes knight, which looks strong, and it's a good move. There's, you have to understand, it's a good move. It's like a C+ or a B-. But I want to play the A+ move if I can find it. Rook takes c6. That's the A+ move. So we're going to take the A+ move, take this knight, threaten the queen, and then threaten to play rook takes free bishop, discovered check. We're going to get a second piece. Now that gives us rook and knight and bishop for queen. That's winning. So this is it. Oh, good grief. Now, this is the problem. And man, my dad had a really good one for this. Okay. That's a horrible move. Everything he plays, though, is horrible. The least horrible move he could probably play. This is not it. Rook to c8 check wins the queen. Okay, at the very least, rook to c8 check wins the queen. Actually, that loses. Rook to e6 is a double check and a checkmate. So queen to d8, he gets checkmated. Queen to h4 is the only square the queen can go to without being taken as a result of the check. Every other square, queen g5 loses, rook takes free bishop check, and we're going to take the queen after that. Oh, I'm sorry, no, we're not. He can play this because he's threatening this. Okay, and that's the idea of this, but we're just going to play the obvious move. Rook to c5. If we play rook takes bishop, he's got queen takes bishop. So he's attacking our discovery piece, our checking piece. The door behind that's blocking the bishop, we'll just take his queen with this. And what that means is we're going to give up rook for queen, He'll have 2 bishops and a rook. We'll have 2 bishops, a knight, and a rook. We're a knight ahead. This just wins. But it's hilarious. Okay, the thing that my dad said, and I really don't think I've mentioned it on this channel until today. This is January like 17, 2026. Is that my dad had another great phrase that just has never come up here, and that is, you give the man choices, because he said the options will screw him. He actually said the options will screw the man, you know, because what it does is it makes it difficult to calculate. You have to calculate queen e7, queen to d8. You know, queen to e7 also is a checkmate. So he's got queen e7, but rook c8 is checkmate. As my dad said, know your checkmates. Queen to d8, rook to e6 is a checkmate. What a freak. He'd be better off to just take the rook, okay? Just take the rook, take the check. But, you know, you can't, you know, you're like, well, now the point of this queen to f5, for example, there's a mistake. You could play rook takes bishop. There are mistakes here. There's traps. This one just loses, again, the same way, rook to c5 check, and you're not even, the queen's not guarded. You're just going to take the queen for free. So the options here screw the man, is what my dad would say. And he's right. Rook takes queen, game over. So this is a great example of what calculations will do with visualization, the superpower of chess, and positional understanding. The difference, the positional understanding here was figuring out, from your perspective, you're likely not to have known the answer. For myself, with much more experience, rook takes is relatively speaking, within 20 seconds, the move I would play. Because I already know the general idea of maintaining this threat. The Sword of Damocles is a famous story. This bishop and rook combo threatening to unleash this check is the Sword of Damocles hanging over his head. And it will totally wreck you in chess. It doesn't wreck you instantly, but just having it hanging, got this threat that's hanging over your game. It's like, oh, dude, it's bogus. It gets to you, okay? This is human nature. So we used all of our skills